Today I'm going to be treating basic operators and math in JavaScript. Alright, so I'm going to be reading the docs, and then my Visual Studio Code is open and Coca enabled. So I'm going to be running through it. So I'm going to be doing some reading also. So we know many operators from school. There are things like plus, multiplication, subtraction, and so on. In this chapter, we will start with simple operators, then operators on JavaScript specific aspects not covered by school arithmetic. Alright, now terms to get ourselves familiar with. We have unary, binary, operand. Before we move on, let's grab some common terminologies. Now, operand, it is what operators are applied to. Now, you know operators, these are operators. We have subtraction, multiplication, they are all operators. Now, said, an operand is what operators are applied to. Okay, so basically operands will be number that we use multiplication on. Okay, for instance, in the multiplication of 5 and 2, there are two operands. The left operand is 5 and the right operand is 2. Sometimes people call these arguments, okay, instead of operands. Now, operators is unary if it has single operand. Okay, if this operator has only single operand, maybe 5 or 2, single operand, it is called unary. It is called unary what? Operator. If it has single operand, alright. For example, the unary negation reverses the sign of a number. Okay, so this operand will be referred to as unary because it has only one operand. Okay, and of course, you know this, I don't need to show it on my code. That if you have a number, a variable x equals to 1, and then that x, you now later negate it, alright. When you now console log, I'm using a lat here, and I actually thought I could be using it on browser, but I felt it's better to use Poker for it. Okay, so let me go ahead and demonstrate it. Okay, so I have a variable there, and then we negate. So I'm going to be using console log instead of alert. Alert will only work on a browser. So I'll throw this here. So you see we have -1 because this simply negating the variable. Okay. Alright. An operator is binary if it has two operands. Okay. So when you have two operands, we say the operator, is what? Is binary. So for example is, if we have let x equals to 1 and y equals to 2 or 3, is complaining. Okay, so we have that. So we can do console log of y minus x. So you see we have 2. So this operator is binary because it has 2 operands. Alright, let's move on. Formally, in the examples above, we have 2 different operands that share the same symbol. The negation operand, the negation operator, a unary operator that reverses the sign, and the subtraction operator. Okay, so what we are saying is, you see, this operator actually behaves in 2 ways. Okay, it's actually serves as unary and binary. Of course, you can see it here. It has only 1 operand. Here it has 2 operands. Okay, so this is what we are talking about here. Okay, the negation operator, a unary operator that reverses the sign, and the subtraction operator, right, the binary operator that subtracts one number from another. Alright, let's move on. So maths, the following math operation are supported. Okay, so addition, this is its addition sign, subtraction is a subtraction sign, and so on and so forth. Remainder, this is remainder, we call it modulus. All right, then exponentiation, we have when you see something like raised to the power, okay, that is what you may have known it to be. So the first 4 are straightforward, while remainder and modulus need a few words about them. Alright, that is true. So remainder, the remainder operator, despite its appearance, it is not related to percent. The result of A modulus B is the remainder of the integer division of A by B. For instance, this is what it means. If I console log, remember I said alert, you can use that when you are on the browser, but for us to use Quokka, it has to be console log. So I will do 5 modulus. It's actually your percentage sign. Alright. So 5 divided by 2. What's the remainder? It goes 2 times and we have remainder 1. Right? We have remainder 1. So if you want to know why is it important? Now there is a way. If you want to find if you want to find even numbers, all right, and non-even numbers, this is what you definitely do. Okay, you know your mathematics, so this is helpful when you are probably doing some algorithms and you want to check for some certain numbers. Okay, so likewise 8 modulus 3 will give you 2. Alright, let's move on. Now, exponentiation operator, which is denoted by double multiplication sign, A, double exponentiation B, raises A to the power of B. Okay, in school maths, we write that A to the power of B. For instance, when we have console log 2 and this, we have 4, right? We have 4. So likewise the others, you can try them to see. And we have 8. Alright. So let's move on. Just like in maths, the exponentiation operator is defined for non-integer number as well. For example, a square root is an exponentiation by 1 over 2. Okay, so if we do console log 4 exponentiation and then half. So of course, if you know your maths, this should be square root of 4. Alright, this is square root of 4, and if you do this, this is your cube root of 8. Okay, so take note of that. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so string concatenation with binary operator plus. Okay, you know binary operator, it has 2 operands. I've said that before. So let's meet the feature of JavaScript operators that are beyond school arithmetic. Right? Usually the plus operator sums numbers, but if the binary plus is applied to string, it merges or concatenates them. Okay, so if we have let s equals to a string and my, now if we console log s, so it's going to merge them, alright, and that's concatenation. Alright, so let's move on. Note that if any of the operand is a string, then the other one is converted to a string too. Okay, for example is console log this is a string and we are adding it to 2, we get 12. Okay, so you must know what you are doing. Okay, likewise the other one. Okay, so it will just merge them in the order in which they appear. Alright, let's move on. See, it doesn't matter whether the first operand is a string or the second one. Here is more complex example. Okay, so which is console.log 2 plus 2 plus string of 1. So we have 41 instead of 2 to 1. Okay, that's if we say it merges them together. Alright, it will not just merge, it will merge. Okay, this will do the addition first, and this 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 merges to 1 is 41. Okay, not 4 plus 1. Alright, so let's move on. Here operators work one after another. The first plus sum two numbers, so it returns 4. Okay, then the next plus add the string 1 to it. Okay, this is the explanation of what this. Likewise you have this. Okay, so here the first operand is a string. The compiler treats the other two operands as strings. 2. The 2 gets concatenated to string 1, so it's like string 1 plus 2, right? So you get 1 2, and 12, string 12 plus 2, you get 1 2 and 2 merges together. So you must understand this. Okay, the binary plus is the only operand operator that supports string in such a way. Other arithmetic operators work only with numbers and always convert their operands to numbers. Here is the demo for subtraction and division. Okay, so when you have 6 minus string 2, console log. We have 6 minus string 2, you have 4. Okay, so it doesn't actually matters. We say convert string 2 to a number. So JavaScript will force this to be number. Okay, remember, if we were to do this, it will convert this to string instead. To convert 6 to string, and it will sum them, it will concatenate them. But in the case of subtraction, what you get is the other way around. It converts the string to a number, and then the mathematics will work out. Okay, hope we're understanding this. So likewise, if we do console log of string 6 divided by string 2, alright, so this operator will force all of them to numbers, and the calculation or the mathematics will work out. Alright, let's move on. Now, numeric conversion, unary plus. Okay, so the plus exists in two forms: the binary form that we use above, and the unary form. Okay, the unary plus, or in other words, the plus operator applied to a single value doesn't do anything to numbers. But if the operand is not a number, a unary plus converts it into a number. Okay, so let's go with some examples. Now let's x equals to 1. Okay, in console log plus x, so you get, this is just like you saw negation. This is also okay, I don't know if we can use this word, but it's just like we have negation, you know, negating it. Here we are making it positive. So, and it says, but if operand is not a number, the unary plus converts it to number. So that's why we have this. Okay, so for the second example, if we have, let y equals to -2, and we console log plus y, we get -2. Okay, because we know that we put in plus will not convert negative number. This is from your mathematics. You should be able to know that. Okay, So now here is the non-numbers that we talked about here. All right. So okay, so you can, if we console log, we have 1. Okay, and if we console log, empty string, we have 0. So ensure you take good care or note of that. Alright, now modify in place. We often need to apply an operator to a variable and store the new result in that same variable. For example, when we have let n equal to 2, and then we have n equals to n plus 5. Alright, so and we console log n, what do we have? Because this is 2 plus 5. Okay, so this notation can be shortened using the operators. Okay, these are special operators. Okay, because they are a combination of more than one. Okay, more than one operators. Okay, so we say it can be shortened. Let's see how we can shorten it. If I want to do this, okay, so for example, we have let n equals to 2 and n plus equal to 5, and then console log n. Okay, so this is instead of doing n equals to n plus 5. This is affecting it. Okay, this is instead of doing this. Okay, this is shorter, right? So you can do that. Okay, so you find this a lot in JavaScript. So you can try this also. Alright, so short, modify and assign. That is what it is. So operators exist for all arithmetical and bitwise operators. Okay, So you can have these two for short. You can have this minus and equal to, modify and assign. Okay, so this will add to and it will assign it to n. Okay, this will add to and it will assign it. Okay, this is true initially, so it will add 5 and assign it to n. Okay, that's why you have 7. Right, I hope that is clear. Alright, these are more examples you can follow. Alright, so increment and decrement. Increasing or decreasing a number by 1 is among the most common numerical operations. So there are special operators for it. Okay, increment, you have double plus, which actually increases a variable by 1. Okay, for example, when you have let counter equals to 2 and you say counter alright, so you increment it by 1 and you console log counter, so have 3. Okay, this is very important in JavaScript. Okay, very important that you understand that. And for decrement, instead of plus plus, it's actually minus minus. Okay, so you decrement it. Okay, to decrement it by 1. So there's no such thing as triple plus. Okay, and there's no such thing as triple minus. Okay, you only have double plus and double minus for increment and decrement. Alright, let's move on. The operators double plus and double minus can be placed either before or after a variable. Now, when the operator goes after the variable, it is a postfix form. It is in a postfix form. What we are doing is postfix counter plus plus. The prefix form is when the operator goes before the variable, that is plus plus counter. And both of these statements do the same thing. Increase by 1. Okay, they do the same thing, but of course your result will differ. Okay, we're going to see that in a minute. Okay, is there any difference? Yes, but we can only see it if we use the return value of plus plus or minus minus. Let's verify. As we know, all operators return a value. Increase and decrement is no exception. The prefix form returns the new value, while the postfix form returns the old value. Okay, to see the difference, here is an example. So if we say, I'm going to clear this out. If we say let's counter equals to 1, and let's a equals to counter this is prefix, okay, this is prefix increment. Alright, so if we console log a, what are we going to have? We're going to have 2. Okay, we have 2. Alright, so what if we have it here? Okay, so here is the logic. Let counter equals to 1. Now when it comes to this line, it's going to assign the value of counter to a before it increments it. So already the a will have 1, and then it will increment it. Okay, so what we are going to see is the old value of a, is the old value of counter, excuse me. Okay, so not the new value, when we increment it. Alright, so make sure you understand this. So let's move on. Let's stick with this example on the material. Okay, so this is this. So what happened is, let counter equals to 1, and it will come and increase this by 1. Alright, so it will assign it to a. Okay, so what you are meeting first is the increment, so that is why it will do it and store it. Okay, so this, you actually get the new return value. Alright, in the line asterisk, the prefix form double plus counter increments counter and return the new value 2, so that the alert, in our case console log, shows 2. Now let's use postfix form. I've actually shown you just to change it. Okay, so and we say in the line asterisk, the postfix form counter plus plus also increment counter but return the old value prior to increment. So alert shows 1. Okay. So to summarize, if the result of increment or decrement is not used, there is no difference in which form to use. So let counter equals to 0, counter plus plus, counter plus plus counter. Okay, let's see this. Let's demonstrate this. We have this, and so we have counter plus plus, and at this point, if I console log the counter, what should I have? 1. Okay, because note that even though I'm actually doing postfix, I'm not putting it in a variable. That you must understand. What I just talked about, you saw that we are storing it in a variable. Okay, we are storing it in a variable, but this does the increments. Okay, but we are not keeping it in a variable. I want you to understand. Okay, so get the difference. If we are putting it in a variable, it will pick the initial value of the counter and assign it to C before it goes ahead to increment it. Okay, so please understand, very important. Okay, so here, based on this our example, we still have prefix increment. So what do we have now? If postfix gave us 1 and prefix now also add another 1, and then we'll get 2. Okay, so take time to understand this, as it's very, very helpful in your journey with JavaScript. Alright, so we'll meet next time. Take care.